stage. Silly games of second guessing. I just forget the lessons that I couldn't learn. Because one street over there's a life I could have known. Who would have kept me from the one I had today?
Good morning. How you doing, Robertson County? Let's get on into it. Good morning, everybody. This is 1100 WSGI. I'm U-Turn LaVern, and this is One Street Over. You know what we're doing here. It's a chance to find out what's going on one street over from where you're living. And if you were one of the ones that took my advice and, you know, if you didn't have anything going and went to Paducah yesterday, oh, I'm so sorry, because traffic was awful. And we got caught in it ourselves as we were moving some of Mom's stuff. But, we're here and everything's good. And I hope everybody, you know, weathered the storms well. Dr. Danny Weeks is in the house. And we also got Jackie Bilyeu in here that we're going to talk to in just a minute. But we're going to let Dr. Weeks come in and say hello and unpack everything from the school board meeting last night. And he was just asking me about all the storms. So did we get any right in here?
If we did, I slept through it. I will say that. I kept getting the tweets and the news feeds and everything about 9:30. But if it came in after that, I sure slept through it.
Well, see, and that was the thing. It was, you know, and people know my mother passed away, and we're trying to take care of things, and so we thought, well, that'd be great. We'll get together and we'll pack, you know, on the house while we're in totality up in West Kentucky. We had antiques on the truck, and we got a little. God just took care of us because I was watching the radar that you know Bill Jones.
Yes.
Okay. Well, he's the weather guy, and he hooked me up with this awesome radar, and I could see me, and I'm like, okay, slow down, because if you don't, we're going to be right in the middle of the storm, and everything is going to get wet. And but we did great. We did great, and. We had some few books got a little damp, but we were able to dry them off. I've got my old set of encyclopedias that I had whenever I was a child, you know, and they're a treasure to me. Yeah. And I've actually got a set that Stokes Brown gave me many years ago when they were cleaning stuff out, and I have those in my classroom. And I love it because the students, it's like, this is Google, you guys.
Exactly.
This is Google, you know, and if they're in trouble, if they're being knuckleheads, they might get to sit back there and write a paper out of an old encyclopedia, you know. But it's fun. And so I didn't want to lose those encyclopedias. They made it. It's crazy. But you're dealing with this too. We were just talking about how, you know, you're combining these households after being, how long were you in Dixon County, right?
Right.
Okay.
I was director of schools down there 12 years. Wow. And so I did actually have a house down there. And, you know, my wife stayed here in town and in Greenbrier.
Wow.
And so being gone 12 years, it's just like you said, trying to move things back and combine those back into a house. It's been difficult.
There's a lot. But, well, God bless you. So we know a little bit about what each other's going through. But I'll tell you, we do appreciate you being back. And welcome. And you're like in my back door there in Greenbrier. You know, just never know when he's going to come knocking on my door, but you're always welcome.
I know
always
that.
Welcome.
Love visiting schools, love getting out. And you know, this time of year, it's there's a lot of preparation going on, and we'll get into that as we talk about the board minutes and things like that and the board notes from last night. But, you know, being in schools and being visible, just kind of seeing what's going on in classrooms. And, you know, I had an opportunity to talk to Kiwanis Club last week, and just talking about the opportunities students have nowadays, and all of our CTE programs, academic programs, dual enrolls, APs, you know, lots of opportunities for students that help them really find out who they are, what they want to do, and how they do that. And it's just such amazing jobs to, I love visiting high schools. I was a high school teacher, but it's also fun to visit our middle schools and elementary schools. Had a chance to read to a couple of classes last week. So getting out and trying to be in as many places as we can be.
I know, it's fun. It's fun. I love my kiddos so much. I wish I could be everywhere with them. I hate missing anything that they're doing, because I was a little split. I was like, ooh, I kind of want to stay here and do the clips with my kiddos and all that kind of stuff. But, you just have things you got to get done. But the CTE program, just such a blessing. I love that it's mentoring them into careers. Those that, some that don't necessarily want to go to a postgraduate four-year college.
School, sure.
And the technology schools that are popping up. We've been talking about the one, I'm trying to remember, there's a tech school that several of them are going to here in Springfield, and they've got an open house coming up. We've covered it in our WGHS News, and the name escapes me right now, but that's just so cool. And but anyway, Dr. Danny Weeks in the house. Can I ask you another random question before we jump into the board meeting? What's going to happen with summer school? Has that been decided yet? How because it's going to structure, is it going to structure different than it has? Because we had grants that helped. I know that I'd heard in the past that, and I'm a newbie, so I may have this wrong, but my understanding was because of COVID, they had grant money that helped pay for summer school at each school.
Right.
But in the past, it's been kind of a gathering.
Right.
Have they made a decision on any of that yet? Or are we still
we are waiting on a little bit of state funding.
Yeah.
I hate to say it's in the state budget, but there are some things that if it comes back, but it's going to be a couple of locations. I don't see it at the high school level being in all 5 schools.
Okay.
But I would imagine maybe either a northern southern cluster or eastern western cluster.
Okay. Well, because that's just a question that everybody's going, what's happening with that. So we just need to wait.
I'd say another week and a half, 2 weeks maybe.
Sure. Okay. Very good. Well, I appreciate you. And I didn't prepare him for that, y'all. I just kind of randomly asked. But okay. So what did we do with our school board meeting last night?
Well, we were talking about recognitions and talking about just being around students. And so the April board meeting is dedicated to the success of our high school students. I don't know if you remember back to last month, but we talked about all of those middle school students and the things that they had accomplished. We say outside of their school level, so it could be county all the way up to a national or a regional national award or something like that. And so last night we did the same thing with our high school students. And so there were probably 100, 150 high school students at the Board of Education meeting, which is, parking was a challenge, getting students together and lined up was a challenge. But, those are great problems to have when you have students that are recognized for their excellence. And we let principals turn those awards into us. And so it's whatever the principals report. So, it's everything from essay writers. We had governor's school winners. We had musicians that were there that were recognized for their work and the things that they do in music, and Middle Tennessee and statewide awards for music. We had a lot of athletes. We had students that competed in robotics clubs. Just FFA. Those are some of the things that I just remember coming through. But again, just to see those students and as I come through, and it was amazing to me to see how many people won multiple awards too. And so you might have someone who comes through and wins a music award for doing something in music, then they come right back through for winning a state FFA degree or something like that. So they're multi-talented students, and it's I had a couple of principals come up to me afterwards, and I forgot that so and so did earn this award or accomplishment and things like that. So, there are just numerous students who are participating in things, being recognized at their school, then going on maybe to a county competition or a state or regional competition, national competition. And so we're so excited about those. So really, that took a long time because there were a lot of students. And so we were excited to be able to do that. While we're talking about recognitions, I would also move into 2 more. Our school nutrition program got recognized for a state award for serving students outside the normal school day. And, we don't think about the number of students, the number of families that maybe are hunger challenged. And so there are different times of the year that our school nutrition program has the opportunity to step up and to serve our community based on some federal dollars that we receive. And so during summer, you mentioned summer school. That was their primary focus last night of the work that our school nutrition program did during summer school, by serving not only the students that are attending summer school, but making that available to any family, any person. I think it was 18 and under, that was hunger challenged could come in and pick up a meal at summer school. And federal dollars are helping to pay those ladies' salaries and men's salaries, and then they're also providing that food. So it's great opportunity for our school nutrition. Miss Patsy Gregory is our supervisor coordinator there, and she does a wonderful job. And all of the ladies and the men that serve and work in our cafeterias, cooking and serving, what a great job they do. So that was a portion from the state came and provided that award to them. And then the last award we received, and again, I know you'll love this, we received recognition as a school system who does an excellent job in supporting the fine arts and specifically music education in our schools. And so Mr. J.R. Baker is our fine arts coordinator for the system. And so the Music Association recognizes school systems that go over and above of recognizing and providing opportunities in music for students. And I know you have a heart for that too. And, it's just, again, such an opportunity to have quality music teachers in all of our schools, and then to have wonderful marching bands, wonderful choirs, whether it's the concert choir, the competitive choirs that go out and do that, or whether it's just somebody's taking music in high school and just learning a little bit about music and maybe enjoy singing in the regular choir, or drama productions and things like that. So those were the big recognitions we had last night. What a great opportunity it has to recognize people for the hard work that they're doing.
I love it. And this, it's so exciting when the kids, if as teachers, if we see that they've gotten an award and we call and we're like, hey, it's so good, they just light up.
Yeah.
It is just the coolest thing. It is just the coolest thing. I just love being a part of their lives. But we do have a wonderful, with Dr. Wilson and Mr. Martin. I mean, the music that we have at Greenbrier, oh my goodness. And there's so many. I know several that are kind of thinking, well, I'm thinking I'm going to take choir. I mean, I had one of my ELL students the other day, and he was so precious because he's been kind of withdrawn a little bit. And then we started doing some things in the studio, and next thing I know, he's got a mic and he's singing. And you need to talk to Dr. Wilson. It's just fun to see them come out of those shells and do these things that are a little, maybe in the privacy of their home, they think, oh, can I sing? And then when they get a little bit of encouragement, it just blossoms, and it's just so wonderful to see.
And to, like you said, to reaffirm that as an adult. There were a couple of kids that came through that I remembered specifically, just from seeing them out on the basketball court that had won some awards, and they were coming through. And I told them as they came through the line last night, I said, I'm so proud. It was a joy to see you playing basketball this year. And then, like you said, they said, well, I remember seeing you at a game. Yeah. And so, to pick somebody out of a crowd and say, I know you were at my basketball game, that meant, I think, meant a lot to those students. And
you bet it does. You bet it does. Talking with Dr. Danny Weeks, he's our director of schools, and we're nearing, we've been counting down. That's, we do our little news reports. And so I've got two new seniors that have been sitting in as news anchor. So I've been kind of concentrating, letting them do the news as much as possible. And so they've been counting it down. And so today is 25 days. No, today is Tuesday. So it'd be 24 days left for our seniors. And 34 for our, the rest of them. Tick, tick. It's going quick. It's going to be here in a minute. Our prom is Saturday night. The Greenbrier prom. The proms are starting to hit. I think Springfield's maybe as well.
I know Heritage had theirs last week.
They did. Yes, okay, so we're hitting prom season. Right. Just so quickly. This is going. We're going to be into. I can't wait to talk to you graduation week.
Yeah, and it's
that's a busy week for you.
It is huge. Yeah, we were talking last night. Just you mentioned time passing, and it seems just like a quick second since it was December 1st when I don't know if you remember. I think I was here with you about 6 days into the job.
Just barely gotten in here. Yeah.
So now it's almost 6 months.
Isn't that incredible?
It's been changing. Yes.
Having fun?
Loving it.
I know. You're just thrilled to be home.
Yeah, sure.
Well, home's thrilled to have you back. I tell you what, let's pause. We've got Jackie Bilyeu. Did I say that right, Jackie? You've been Bilyeu? Blue. Yeah, it's right here. I'm sleepy. But Jackie is with, we'll introduce her in a minute. Have you been in here before?
No, ma'am.
Okay, I was thinking I've met you, though. I feel like, I don't know. Anyway, we'll talk in just a second to her, but and we're talking about getting your kids registered for next year. That's very important. So we're going to talk about that in just a minute. Let me do a quick break. And, I want to talk about somebody that's got kids in our school systems. I don't know if you have met the Myers. If you have not met Perry and Katie Myers, oh my gosh, you're just missing out because they are just an absolute blast. This is Mr. Perry's music. If you want to have a good time, you need to hook your kids up into the programs that they have for the music camps that are going on this summer. You got to get it done soon though, because they are going to fill up. I saw a little reel that Perry put up, and he was showing everybody a little view of all the things that they have going on with as far as guitars and amps and every kind of guitar and string and all the things that you could possibly want if you're a music person. But if you're going to come in and buy gear, you might need some lessons too. Or maybe you're trying to figure out, I'm going to talk to him. I can't get my grandson. I've got a grandson that's going to be 8 in July, and he's just starting to, he'll lean into drums, and then he'll pick up a guitar. I want to make an appointment with Perry and just, say, okay, I need this much time. And that's the thing about him and Katie. They will customize whatever you need. I need to have a good, maybe an hour, 2-hour lesson someday when he's free with my grandson to come in and just kind of touch all the instruments and see what he's interested in and help him with that. And then maybe and you can do that with the band camp. But my grandkids in, this one is in Mount Juliet. So it's not as quite convenient, but they'll work with you on this stuff is my point. But you can go to Mr. Perry's music, and you can find out all the details about what's still available with the camps that they have going on. You can find out about all the gear that they've got available, but you need to do it very, very soon. The best way to find them is at mrperryspringfield.com. Reach out to them and send them an email and find out all about the music lessons. It is so fun. They are awesome folks, and if you've not checked out Mr. Perry's music, you don't know what you're missing. Mr. Perry Springfield, mrperryspringfield.com. Reach out to them today. Set up some music experiences for your kiddos this summer. And when you do, please let them know U-Turn sent you. And, talking about Mr. Perry, one of the kiddos that he has in one of his bands, Cranium, he is one of my students. And people in our school don't know about this young man's musical talent, Aiden Raymer. Good land. But it's so fun to see those things. Mm-hmm. And they discovered that at one of the summer camps. And so there's just so many fun things going on around our county. So now what do we need to cover next?
Well, just wanted to, as we mentioned, planning for next year. Mm-hmm. The personnel report is something that our office always prepares. It summarizes the personnel actions that our HR department has taken, and done during the last month or so. And so it was last night we shared the names of, there were 9 people that have decided to retire from teaching this at the end of the year. And again, that will happen all the way up probably, through May, June, and July. But as I read through the names last night, I actually saw some of the students that were in my classes when I was a high school teacher that are now retiring from the school system.
Well, I mean, that's like, wow.
That is. And 2 or 3 teachers that when I was here as a principal. So they've decided to retire now. So, and again, we're so proud of the teachers that we have and the work that they do. And, there were, like I said, there were 9 or 10 that turned in resignations retirement letters. And we congratulate them on doing that. So, each month we take a look at the personnel report, and there are people who need to take leaves of absence, for instance. They're sick for a while, they need to be out, and different things like that. So, that's always on the board meeting agenda. It's something board members review, and just for public information. The board doesn't have the hiring and the firing authority. They have one employee, that's me. Mm-hmm. But our HR department takes care of all those, and so the board reviews those documents, and they see what we do, and they help us improve positions in terms of budgeting. But they review the personnel report. So again, personnel report is out there, and they take a look at it, just like they do with the financial reports. And again, so in financial reports, we review that every month. We talk about, where we are in terms of revenues, and our revenues for the school system mainly come from 3 sources. They come from, state dollars come in and help us, and that's the majority of that. We get local revenues here basically from property taxes and from sales taxes. And so we review each of those numbers on a month-to-month basis and compare them to how we're doing budget-wise. And we'll say, I really have a half year's experience under my belt here in managing and helping manage these dollars. But, right now we're under budget, which is always a good thing. I think we're good stewards of our dollars that we receive from the county and from the state. And so we watch those numbers carefully because, monitoring the revenues, there's sometimes we may have to say that, we didn't get dollars in like we expected to. And so we may have to slow down some spending in areas and different things like that. But we monitor those each month. And we also try to monitor those larger expenditure categories, electricity, water, gas. You can imagine, what a gas bill for a school.
I can't even. I think.
But we also we manage. And speaking of gas, we manage the diesel fuel and the gasoline that run our buses. Mm-hmm. And so those are things that we watch every month and just kind of monitor where they're going, how they're going. And, again, you can imagine, I know Mr. Heineman usually listens to us, but you can imagine monitoring and trying to budget for diesel fuel on a bus that probably gets 4 to 5 to 6, maybe 7, 8 miles a gallon. But,
it's incredible.
It
is.
And
with the increase in fuel over the last few years, I can imagine that's busted his budget big.
Well, we watch those carefully, absolutely. Yep. We approved several little contracts last night. We always monitor and the contracts that are ongoing. And for instance, I don't know if you started mowing your yard yet, but it's time to start mowing the schoolyards. And so as we look at those contracts and monitor where they are, we've approved some contracts for our mowing contractors. And so I was driving in a couple of days ago on the weekend and just looking around. Our campuses look beautiful. Mm-hmm. Nothing better than a nicely mown lawn and things like that. And so. We have a couple of contractors that take care of our lawns and lawn care all across the county, and so again, another big job that people think of the school system and to think about how much it would be time wise to get out and take care of the lawns at our schools. What a job. And people that love mowing yards. We've got some nice big campuses for that. So we approved those contracts last night. Probably one of the biggest contracts that came through last night is we have some renovations that are coming to you at IA, or the Old Springfield Middle School, as a lot of people know it, the Innovation Academy. But we're going to be working on air conditioning this summer. We're going to be working on lots of plumbing fixtures and, water and sewer and all the things that are in that building. I think that building was built in the late 1920s. And so you can imagine there's a lot of work that needs to be done to take care of that. And so the board authorized us to go ahead and enter into a contract and seek funding to take care of those needs at IA here. And that'll take care of that for quite some time. So that was one of our biggest items of discussion last night in terms of doing that. It was a large contract that came through, and one of those things that we are, again, just, we need to get started just as soon as school gets out, because these are things that can't be done. You can't work on the air conditioning, you can't work on the plumbing and the water system while students are there. So that building, when we actually secure the funding, put all that in place, it's really going to it's going to change that building. But unfortunately, those are things in the walls and in the ceilings and places like that. So it's going to be hard to see the results of that, but certainly those that are using that building on a daily basis are going to notice those things. Probably a year-long process, so it's going to, be disruptive to the summer particularly. But it's one of those things that's going to last on into the school year next year. And that, again, a very large project. We'll be talking with county finance, county mayor, to talk about financing that project and hopefully getting it off the ground so that we can start just the minute school's out. Mm-hmm.
Well, so I had to be out at IA for a PD day, and it's so funny. The ones who are there were telling me about the things they were anticipating, and they were quite ready. Right. So bathroom things and just things in there, and so it's definitely something that it's got to be done. Got to be done, but and they will notice.
They will notice.
They will notice.
They sure will.
Very good. So continue on.
Last thing, and it. it sounds drastic. It's really not, but we've been talking with the principal at Bransford Elementary School, and Miss Jackie will get into that, I'm sure, a little bit. But Bransford is a pre-K school that serves all the students who are pre-kindergarten here in the city of Springfield, and so as we've talked about that, it takes a different license to teach pre-K than it does, just a regular elementary school teacher.
Really?
Have to have extra endorsements on that.
I did not know that.
I'm a licensed elementary school teacher. I can teach anything grades 1 through 8. But if I wanted to teach kindergarten or pre-kindergarten, I'd have to go back to school, take extra classes and things like that. And
I did not know that. Okay.
Special person to
Sure.
teach those young words. And so we talked about, capturing a name that really captures the essence of what they do there. So, when you talk about an elementary school, as you talk to vendors, as you talk to people who are applying for jobs, they think it's just a regular elementary school like everybody else, like our other elementary schools throughout the county. But the school presented us with the name Bransford Early Learning School. And so we're taking away that we talked about Early Learning Center, but that doesn't really capture that it's a public school. That doesn't, it might imply like it's a daycare of some sort or something like that. But so we've looked at Bransford Early Learning School, and so that the board considered that last night, looked at that, and so they made that change. And so the Bransford name is certainly, tradition and the tradition of the community, the tradition of that school. So we certainly don't want to do anything with the name Bransford, and we've retained that. But changing the name of that school, is probably a technical thing, for our documents and the work that they do there. But when people hear the name Bransford Early Learning, it's going to be, how we refer to that school from a district perspective.
I hope they'll, I love the fact that they've done this play last couple of years that talks about Miss Lena.
Yes.
And if you don't understand the significance behind that name, you really need to learn her story. It is just so cool. And I just love that they're honoring that name. As more I learn about her, I'm just, flabbergasted.
Absolutely.
She's such a cool person. But all right, you got anything else for us?
We did. The board didn't take any action. Again, a lot of reports, a lot of information, but again, as we look at TCAP testing coming up, it's that time, and so the board reviewed. It's really the next 2 weeks, and what that test schedule is going to look like, all the way down from as early as third grade, all the way up to I think we still have some juniors and seniors taking some of the tests that are out there, and so they talked about that. They really congratulated teachers on the work that they've done. They challenged students to use this time as a time to show off what you've learned, and to take the test seriously, to look at those and how they're doing. And so again, just opportunity for the public, for our board members to know how serious these tests are, and to take them seriously, but yet to understand what kind of stresses are on families and on students and on teachers and staff, because of the results of those tests coming out. So had a report from our instruction department on how, the tests work and things like that. So it was a rather long night. Most of that, though, was great stuff because of recognitions. The other programming and the other things, I'd say they didn't take a lot of time, but they're deep issues, such as testing and when we test and how we test, and the state's very strict on the guidelines that they have in place for us. And so our assessment department, our curriculum and instruction departments really put together a great schedule for those. And then, it's implemented every day at the school level. So, right down in those classrooms, just like yours, where it happens.
Well, and that's, we hear in high school, we hear about EOC, which is end of course testing. And so that's under the umbrella of TCAP. Is that my understanding? See, I'm learning.
It is.
That's why I'm in an EPP. All these acronyms. That's an educational preparedness program for all of us career teachers. They don't just throw us into the classroom, you guys. No. They got to teach us to teach, and my goodness, they need to, because it's different. If you've not been in a classroom, you just don't get it. And I've always had respect for teachers, but boy, I really do now. And I just hug my friends that are in the EOCs right now, and the math teachers that are going, I'm trying to teach everything before, I remember, Muriel Barnett.
Yes.
It would grieve her if she's like, I don't have time. Maybe they, we're out, talk about snow days. Any day that we're out that is an academic day that denies an opportunity for a teacher to get material in these kiddos' little brains, to make sure, not little brains, but you know what I mean, young brains, to make sure that they're prepared for these tests. They take it so seriously, guys. Pray for these folks. I mean, it's a lot, and we're in it. We've got like some kind of a writing assessment today for some. It's starting up, and then the actual real, getting down to the bare bones of it, it begins on Monday. But I think the younger kids are already in it, aren't they?
There are some pre-assessments and some field tests this week, and
field tests is what we have today. Yeah.
And then so it actually, the TCAP as we know it for our elementary schools really starts next Monday.
Okay. Well, it's a lot, guys. And we just love those kiddos and just hug them and pray for them and just pray for the teachers too. It's a little bit wild. Anything else we've got that we need to cover?
Just excited for the end of the year. I know, athletics are in full swing for, our spring sports. I've seen lots of invitations, spring plays, spring dramas, and things like that are going on. So get out and see the students acting and, those clubs and activities, band concerts, choir concerts. It's that time of year when we're so busy. Then we'll get into awards season where people start having their end of the year banquets and awards. You mentioned proms, just a great time for our kids. And then, my second favorite time of the year, graduation. So,
and that will be a busy week. That will be a busy week. I know as you get in there, because it's like seven graduations in 7 days. It's just one right after another.
Right.
And we just pray for really good weather for them because a lot of them are outside. Are they all outside? No,
we have some in IA.
Right.
Our Phoenix Academy, our adult high school, they do theirs inside.
They're inside.
But I think the rest of us, maybe Joe Burns is still inside too.
Okay.
So we'll finalize those plans. I'll make sure I have answers
for good
for
weather
next time.
Pray for good weather. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to let you slide out, let Jackie slide in while I take a break. Thank you again, Dr. Weeks.
Thank you.
Come see me anytime.
Thanks so much.
Absolutely. And we'll let him make his way out. Jackie's going to slide over into his seat. And while they're doing that, I am going to talk to you about our next sponsor, Barry and Rebecca Richards with Exit Prime Realty. You know who I'm talking about. They've been one of our sponsors for forever, and we love them for it. We appreciate so much what they bring to the table because they've been a part of this program. Really, I don't think they were our very first sponsor, but they're pretty close, and they're still hanging with us, and we appreciate that because it gives us an opportunity to bring to you, all the stuff going on. And they're just so involved in the community, so plugged in. They are going to be a part of the Kilgore Station Bluegrass Festival. They're also one of the they are one of the founding sponsors. Barry's on the board that brings you the Kilgore Station Bluegrass Festival out at Kilgore Park coming up at May 17th and 18th. Cannot wait for that. It's going to be awesome. They got bathrooms out there now. They've built bathrooms at Kilgore Park. We're so excited. They've renovated the barn. The barn, if the old tobacco barn, is where we have the square dance on the night before the actual festival. You just don't want to miss any of this, guys. And, I unpack all this during Barry and Rebecca's commercial because they're going to be there. And if you really want to sit down, maybe you don't really want to make a call and you just want to sit down and just talk to somebody, you can do that. And you can do that so many times because they're in the community. They were at the Vietnam Vets program the other day, the Vietnam Vets Day program. They try to have something set up to where you can come in and talk to them anytime because Barry's got this marketing background that's just priceless when it comes to selling property. Rebecca has been one of the first in the area to be a seniors real estate specialist. They're cross-Planians. They specialize in Robertson County properties, but also buy and sell in the surrounding counties and across the state line in Kentucky. So many ways to contact them. You can call Becky, 615-504-7425, 615-504-7425. They are part of the Exit team. Exit Prime Realty is a new branch in the Exit team. So you're going to get the same wonderful team that they've worked with for years, but just a new branch. They took and combined the brokerage office that Barry opened here on the downtown square along with the agent office that Rebecca has up in White House. And there you go, Exit Prime Realty. If you know somebody's wanting to mentor into real estate, could not ask for a better couple to help them do that. So get in touch with them today. You know what to let them, always be sure and tell them U-Turn sent you. Getting back into the show, and Jackie, I still feel like I know you from somewhere. I feel like I've met you somewhere. Jackie Bilyeu, disc jockey Emmy's going, did they name you for the song?
You probably, I wouldn't doubt if you know my husband, Joe Blue.
Oh, you're Joe. No wonder.
Everybody knows Joe.
Oh my goodness, you're Joe. Oh my goodness, my goodness. You did good, Joe. She's beautiful.
He was on with Lee Marie.
Yeah, pull that microphone to you.
Okay.
Well, and here's the thing. Okay. He thinks that we're not going to finish this Bigfoot thing. We are. But it's just, we've, trying to build a new program and stuff. I probably shouldn't right out of the gate go, we're going to do a documentary. It's a bit much to take on when we first started. But we've got all this wonderful footage of Joe down on the creek bank where I live. And one of my kiddos interviewing him, and it's just, it's priceless. And no, it's still there, and we're still developing it. We just haven't finished it yet. But, well, for one thing, we're trying to make it look really polished. And we want to use we have this program that we're learning. And once we get some of the ins and outs of that figured out, we can kind of make it look a little more professional. And so we're still, and we've got we've got 2 documentaries we're setting on in our class, but Joe's one of them. That's wonderful.
He's had a lot of fun with that.
Yeah. Well, tell him, because Lee Marie asked me the other day, she goes, Joe wants to know when that documentary, I was like, we haven't abandoned it. It's just that, I'm one of these people that I like to learn just by jumping into the deep end. And, and I very quickly saw that a documentary was a little bit much my very first year teaching and all those things, but we're getting it together. So tell him thank you. And we haven't forgotten, but I still feel like we may have met out and about, but welcome to the studio. Thank you so much. And it was so funny because they asked me, they said, well, I don't think Dr. Weeks likes being on for a whole hour. I'm going to tease him. He's always coming up. Well, what about the second half hour we do this? He's busy. He is so very stinking busy. This is his first year. And I just like to chit chat. I could sit here and talk to him. We were talking about, him moving back from, having the 2 households and all that. We could have talked about all those things. So we can always find something to talk about. But this is something we really need to talk about because the enrollment for these kiddos coming in to the school system is critical to get it done and do it in advance and not wait until August to go, where's my kid go to school? Don't do that. Please don't do that. Would that be correct?
Absolutely. Our application went active on our district website on March 1st.
Okay.
And we encourage families to start that process now. It is unlike any other grade in that it's not a registration and enrollment. It's an application process.
Okay.
So by going to the district website and clicking on register student, they would select the 2024-2025 school year pre-K application and complete that application. It's going to ask them to upload documents. And as they upload those documents, they'll hit submit, and then I will be giving them a phone call about their application, because if there's anything else needed for that file, what I will be trying to do is get everything in the file that needs to be there for the district to process that application.
Okay.
So it is a process. And so if families, if they have a child that is 4 years old on or before August 15th of this year, we encourage all families to start that application process. It is an income-based program. And so once they upload, and submit, I will call them and let them know, talk to them about their application, make sure everything's there. And then the application will be processed and letters are mailed to families by the end of June. They will receive a letter in the mail from the school district letting them know the outcome of their application.
Okay, so talk to me, because now here's another thing what we're going to be doing. I have got a lot of... I've got one girl that she's very fluent. She's not an ELL. She's brilliant. I mean, she's not learning the language is what my point is. So she's from a Hispanic family. She is going to translate this information into a PSA that we're going to submit to our Spanish side over here, because we've got so many Spanish-speaking families that need this information.
Thank you so much.
So, Marissa, we're on this. But I told her the other day, I said, you could do this ad, couldn't you? And she was like, yeah, okay. But we're gonna write the script this morning, and then we're gonna have her properly translate it for us to make sure it sounds good. Then we're gonna cut that and give it to Bilyeu to play on our Spanish side. So
And I brought something for you for that.
Oh, wonderful.
Yes.
What are the documents that they need?
They will need the birth certificate. We cannot use a mother's copy. If it's a Tennessee birth certificate, the health department will print those for $15. They will need the Tennessee certificate of immunization. Every child enrolled in a Tennessee school is required to have that document in their file for immunizations and a current physical. 2 proofs of address, and in the application it will let them know what is acceptable proofs of address. There have to be 2, and so those are things that they will need to upload, as well as their income documentation. And so I will be calling them after that to talk through anything that may be missing that needs to be there.
Okay, so that could be a check stub?
At least 2 complete pay stubs, recent pay stubs.
Okay.
They can use their Form 1040, where they filed income taxes.
Okay.
That shows that first page that shows their names, their address, how they're filing, who the dependents are, the wages, that first page of that document for 2023, or they can use their last 2 complete pay stubs for this year to calculate an annual income.
Okay, and this is something anybody that has applied for a job. I mean, there's just a lot of different reasons we have to have these, because I know we had to apply for different things with the state was teaching, and they want that documentation, and this is pretty standard. If you want to document your income, it's the last 2 pay stubs, and I can't remember if something maybe getting approved for a loan or something. I had to submit something like that, and it could be either that tax document or 2 pay stubs that shows the consistency, and then proofs of where you live. We're talking utility bills,
electric bill, water bill, gas bill, mortgage statement, property records, auto registration, voter ID card. The list is in the application of what is acceptable.
Okay. And so more than likely when we write the commercial and stuff, or when we go through all the content, we'll just tell them,
yes, it's listed right here on this that I'm leaving.
Okay. Very good.
And I'm so glad that you mentioned the need for translators. We will be having 4 help sessions at Bransford Elementary, where families can come to Bransford Elementary if they need to use a computer, from 4:30 to 6:30. On this Thursday is the first one, April 11th from 4:30 to 6:30, April 18th from 4:30 to 6:30, and May 14th from 4:30 to 6:30. Translators will be available to assist them through that process. So if they're needing help with that application, if they need to use a computer, they have those 2 hours on those 3 dates. And then the 4th date, it's during the day. In case families are working nights, they can come in during the school day into Bransford Elementary from 8:30 to 11:30 on Thursday, April 25th. We will have translators there as well that day, where they can access the computers. We'll make the copies of their documents, help them upload them, and complete that process with them. I encourage them to arrive by 5:30 for these events, because it takes an hour to complete the application and get those documents uploaded. But we will have translators available. And I always like to give the phone number if they have any questions about our program. My number is 615-382-4686.
Do that number again if you don't mind.
615-382-4686. And like you said, it is so important to start this process now. There have been many families that have gone in and completed the application thinking, okay, my child's enrolled, and they go to open house, and they're not enrolled because they've started their application process. So I really encourage starting that right now.
Okay. And so can you kind of give me so let's say somebody is interested in being a part of this. What are when do the kids go for pre-K? Is it a 5-day-a-week thing?
Yes.
What are the hours?
We are a full-time, full day schedule, and it's on the same schedule as the rest of the schools. So we have 7 buildings that we have voluntary pre-K in: Bransford Elementary, Coopertown, East Robertson, Greenbrier, Joe Burns, Kreisel, and Robert F. Woodall. Now, Bransford is the only one that has 7 classrooms of voluntary pre-K. That's that early learning school that he just mentioned. Coopertown and those other 6 schools that I mentioned have 1 classroom in that in each of those buildings, and that's only 20 seats that are available in each of those buildings. And so we encourage all families to complete the process. I get a lot of questions about the income and should I apply. I encourage all families to complete that process. The worst thing that happens is you get a letter at the end of June saying that you exceeded income guidelines. But after September 15th, the state will allow the school district to go back to over income applications for consideration of secondary factors, which could be a grandparent raising a grandchild, a parent that's active military. There are a list of secondary factors. So if you haven't completed that process, there's nothing for the district to go back to.
Oh, that's all. I mean, I had all this information, guys. There's so much out there because I knew that there was a pre-K program, but just in my head, I thought I think it's like 3 days a week and it's half day. And
full time.
And some, but didn't it kind of start that way? Maybe that it was kind of a short schedule, or no?
No, it's always been
Really?
a full time, and all of the buildings outside of Bransford have rest times. So they'll have a rest time, but they arrive and dismiss with the rest of the building.
Oh, that's great. And I mean, right now with daycare, what it is, and the programs that you need for your kiddos, and working mom, I mean, and working dad, you know what I mean? You know, single dads, single moms, grandparents, big. And that's a lot of grandparents raising kids.
It is such a great foundation for kindergarten readiness. I taught pre-K before I came into this position. This is my 11th year in pre-K, but my 3rd year as the pre-K coordinator. And prior to that, I taught kindergarten for 5 years. So that gave me such a great perspective because it shows me, I've seen what those kids are going into and the expectations of kindergarten. Those have changed. The expectations are pretty rigorous for kindergartners. And so it's such a critical foundation for our 4-year-olds, our youngest learners in the district, to come into pre-K, not only on the academic side, but the social and emotional learning that takes place in that classroom on a daily basis. So it's such a vital part of their foundation of going into kindergarten, not only, like I said, with the academics, the social emotional learning, but I could see when I was teaching kindergarten, those that had that pre-K experience, they come in with a different perspective. They come in with a confidence coming into the classroom. And until you can get over that fear, those children coming in that have never had that experience, they come into the classroom, they're afraid. And so that confidence that they come in to the classroom with is just huge for them because they're able to look at that classroom in a different way. I know what this place is. I've done this. I've been there and done that. So they're ready to learn the academics, the social emotional learning, and all of those types of things.
I love it. And, I've had some experience with pre-K. I have a lot of friends that are newcomers from Egypt. And there was a friend of mine that has twins, and their boys were just, because they were only around mom and dad. And they just had very limited exposure to anybody outside of the house. And I can't begin to tell you how it helped those kiddos. Yes. And then they have a little sister as well. Watching the change in them from the moment they were able to get in pre-K. And because, I mean, number one, they weren't speaking a lot of English. They were, their mom and dad are just brilliant in helping them with both of it. But it was a game changer. So these ELL learners, oh my goodness, it's critical. That's why we've got to get this done in Spanish to get it out there, because for these kids that are ELLs, and that's English language learners, for you non-teacher, all the acronyms. I get so tickled because when I first started in the classroom, they gave me this big red sheet front and back with all the acronyms, and I'm like, I'll just Google it. If I don't know what it is, it's like, hey, Google, what does this stand for in education? And he knows, but we're talking with Jackie Bilyeu. I'm still going back to the Jackie Bilyeu. I mean, old disc jockey in me is just kind of humming it in my head as soon as because I looked at the name and I just didn't realize you were related to Joe, but and then you said Jackie Bilyeu, and I'm like, the Ozark Mountain Daredevils. I had to look them up, man. I forget what genre that. Well, it was like in '75, so we were still playing that when I started DJing. So, but yeah, I'm sure people kind of hum that to you now. You married, but that's just so funny that you married such a cool name. So anyway, I mean, that's like I'm sure when Joe's like, "Will you marry me?" You get to be Jackie Bilyeu, man. What more do you need? That name is so stinking cool.
Well, I am very blessed to be married to him.
Oh, he is a blessing. He's a good guy, but I'm just teasing you. But like I said, the old DJ in me's going, "That's a cool name." All right, we're talking with Jackie Bilyeu, and you're the pre-K coordinator?
Voluntary pre-K coordinator. Yes, ma'am.
Voluntary pre-K. And what she means by that is you're not going to get a truancy notice if you don't put your kids in pre-K. That's why it's called voluntary. And that's why it's limited. Am I correct there?
We only have the state, we have 13 pre-K classrooms in our district right now. And voluntary pre-K, we have that program. We also have special ed pre-K and a positive peer model program.
Oh, wow.
The coordinator for that program is Dr. Janae Jackson. And so if families have questions about the 4-year-old program for our special ed students and the positive peer model program, they can call our district board of education and ask for Dr. Janae Jackson, and she can answer any question they may have about special ed pre-K and the positive peer model program for 4-year-olds.
Oh, that's wonderful. I mean, so many good things, but it's just critical, guys, that you get this done ahead of time and not wait until the last minute, because as Ms. Bilyeu was saying, it is one of those things that you got to have the right documents. And I'm sure, I think that's one thing too with our newcomers. They just don't understand the process, and that maybe it's not as difficult back home, and those kinds of things. Not necessarily difficult, it's just different. And so trying to navigate those waters.
That's why I
they need the
appreciate
help.
this time so
I'm
much.
so glad
and
you were able to
sharing
come in and do this.
information, because parents just don't know the process. But in that, when they go in to create that application, they're creating a username and password for that portal that they will go back in each year, and they'll create a registration and enrollment for kindergarten, 1st, 2nd, 3rd grade. So they'll still need to upload proofs of residence every year to verify and to update any information, critical information like emergency contacts and such. So that's a password that they're going to need to hang on to, because they're going to need to log in every year to enroll for the next year. It just looks different for pre-K. And
when Ms. Bilyeu was talking about how that the academic requirements now, I mean, I have a grandson that's in 1st grade, and I had something, I don't know what it was. I was typing something the other day, and he was reading it over my shoulder. I was like, really? And he's in 1st grade. Amazing. You know, you used to think you could like cryptically write something and they couldn't read it. No.
Be careful.
Oh man. And I mean, and he was sounding out big words, and I was wonderful. Like, dude, I am so impressed with you.
I'm so impressed with our teachers, our voluntary pre-K teachers, so impressed with their dedication to these youngest learners is amazing. And it is truly amazing. They're like sponges, and it's such really a joy to watch. There's something about February and March where you can see, they're getting those skills that we've worked on since August. It's really amazing to watch. It really is.
I've got one of my nieces up in Kentucky. She's a kindergarten. I think she teaches kindergarten. And she comes in with such fun stories. And I just love hearing from them. And, of course, one of my favorite kindergarten teachers is of course, oh, my goodness, Miss Amanda. Yes. And love her. She's having a baby. It's public. I can tell everybody. Everybody's so excited. I think whenever they announced it, I think they broke the internet, because we were all like, ah! But anyway, you know who Miss Amanda is. Everybody knows her. She's just awesome. But I love her stories that she gets from these little ones that she'll share. And it was so funny. They had this, what will Miss Amanda's baby be? And she put that up on social media the other day, and she gave them this, they could get a pink bee or a blue bee. And one of them comes up, I thought you had a baby in your tummy, not bees.
Not bees. I have said many times that we as teachers need to get together and write a book.
Thing.
Yes,
oh
absolutely.
My gosh, I got so tickled.
Love those stories.
But yeah, it's fun stuff. But I've got a few, that are close to me that teach these younger kids, and what a blessing. They just, when they start talking about them, they just light up.
Yes.
And my niece up in Kentucky was talking about her experiences with the eclipse, and and it's just so funny. It's just so cute. She goes, I can't wait until they have that memory of that time that my teacher made me put, because what they did is they took their eclipse glasses and they fed them through a little paper plate and tied them to their heads so they wouldn't take them off. She goes, I know they're going to remember, why did my teacher put a plate on my face?
There's always a way.
Always so cute, so cute. Such good stuff, guys. We want you to be involved and get your kids into the voluntary pre-K program if this is going to work for you. But you got to get the process started now. Let me do my break, and then we're going to come back, and I want you to unpack again the hours that you're going to be helping with registration and exactly what they need to do. Let's kind of unpack that information again. We're talking with Miss Jackie Bilyeu, and we are going to continue with our program here on 1100 WSGI, but some critical information that you need from from the old Highland Rim Speedway. I always mention Highland Rim Speedway because you got to go to Highland Rim Speedway to find Veterans Motorplex. They kept that social media following because they had 19,000 followers. You hang on to that. So they changed the banner on it. It says Veterans Motorplex. And talking with Jerry, we're in racing season. Yes, racing season officially is March to October. That's why he went ahead and started his ads, even though they're not actually racing yet. He wants to really make sure you understand, yes, it is racing season, but they're making track improvements. And the weather hasn't completely cooperated. They were hoping they were going to be racing this weekend. They're having to push it off because of some of the weather delays. They're really thinking now that their first race will be that last Saturday in April. Now, they're going to do a test run, a practice run, they're hoping on the 20th. But the big thing is Jerry just wants you to say, okay, save Saturday nights. It is a one ticket, or you can get the family ticket for $40. It'll get in up to 6 kids and 2 adults. Family friendly. There's no alcohol served. That's very unusual for a racetrack. You don't have to worry about all that if you want to bring kids out and have a good family fun environment. Great concession stand. Come out and have dinner with them and cheer on your local favorites. It is so much fun. I have been several times and can't wait to get back out there, and you will have a blast. It is described as a fast, quarter-mile high banked asphalt bull ring, and it is fun. And man, when that stuff gets run around the track, it's just exciting to watch. I can't really say enough. You've just really got to experience it. And it is just one of the coolest things here in Robertson County. But it's the old Highland Rim Speedway. It is Veterans Motorplex. They're going to be racing real soon. I can't wait to see. Jerry wants me to come out and take a look at some of the improvements that they've done on the track. I can't wait to see that. And, just can't wait. Some of my kiddos will end up working there. That'll be their first summer job. It is so much fun. Go and see them. Veterans Motorplex, the old Highland Rim Speedway. They're at 6801 Kelly Willis Road in Greenbrier, getting ready to start racing very, very soon. Follow them at Highland Rim Speedway, and that way you can watch all the things that they have going on, all the information that they have. They have a weekly live stream that they do that'll tell you all about what to expect. But great friends of the program, and when you talk to them, let them know you turned Cincha. We're in the studio with Jackie Bilyeu. I'm sorry, you've got to hear that all the time.
Oh, I have.
It's like,
many times.
I mean, you have to, because it's kind of like people find out my name is, they think, you turn LaVern, is that a made-up name? Well, no, I have 2 Aunt LaVerns. And so it's like, hey, LaVern, where's Shirley? So, do you know that? Are you old enough to know that reference?
Absolutely.
Okay, I thought, but
that
yeah,
was a favorite.
My kids have no idea what I'm talking about, but my students, which is funny, but yeah, just like you're going to hear the song all the time. I hear, "Hey, Laverne, where's Shirley?"
Yeah,
but that's what we do.
That's right.
Okay, Miss Blue is in the house, and we're going to unpack for you. If you have a child that needs to register for voluntary pre-K, it is time. The application went active, you said March 1st?
March 1st.
And they have got some evenings and a daytime where you can go in and get assistance. So unpack that for us again.
So if you're going in to apply online, at our district website is www.rcstn.net. You would select the register student link on the top right corner of that page, and it will show you the pre-K application for 2024-2025. If you have a child that is 4 years old on or before August 15th, we encourage all families to go out and apply for this program. It is an income-based program. As I stated, we have 7 buildings that we have voluntary pre-K in. That is Bransford, Coopertown, East Robertson, Greenbrier, Joe Burns, Kreisel, and Robert F. Woodall. And only a parent or legal guardian can complete that application. Once you have submitted that application, you've uploaded all the documents, and you hit submit, I will be giving you a call to go through that application and let you know any documents that may still be needed for that application to be processed. It will then be processed by the school district, and all letters will be mailed to families by the end of June. Those letters will be received to let parents know the outcome of their application. And it is a process. So that's why, as she was stating, we encourage families to start this process now. We are offering assistance with the application process at Bransford Elementary at 322 Bransford Drive in Springfield. The first one is Thursday, April 11th. That's this Thursday from 4:30 to 6:30. The second one is Thursday, April 18th from 4:30 to 6:30. And then Tuesday, May 14th from 4:30 to 6:30. The daytime session will be Thursday, April 25th from 8:30 to 11:30. Now that's a time that parents can come in or guardians can come in and use our computer lab to have access to a computer. We will have translators available at all of these events to assist as well. We will get those documents uploaded for you into your application so that you can hit submit before you ever leave the building. And if you have any questions, please call me. My name is Jackie Bilyeu at 615-382-4686.
Okay, and that phone number one more time for us.
615-382-4686.
All right, and I tell you, it is something that you just need to get done. And is there a deadline for applying?
There is not a deadline.
Okay.
When you go in to see the application, you're going to see the 2023-2024 pre-K application on the website, because we will seat children as long as we have an open seat somewhere.
Okay.
So they can go in and apply right now for the current school year, but they want to select 2024-2025 if their child is 4 on or before August 15th
Gotcha.
of this year for the 2024-25 school year.
So just get it done. No, there's no cutoff, but if you want to get a seat for your child in pre-K, the seats are limited. How many seats do you have at Bransford? You say you have the 7 classrooms, 20 per class?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And so the thing is, too, as those seats fill up, in addition to that, the closer we get to open houses at that first week of August, families are going to be up against trying to get documents in on time. And it's a process. It takes time. So families may not be able to attend open house. If their application is not complete, they are not enrolled. If that process has not been completed, their child is not enrolled by hitting submit on an application. It is not like registering for kindergarten.
Okay.
So they need to complete that ahead of time so that they are able to participate in open house, and then start school and have those staggered days. We have staggered days when our students start. It's over a staggered schedule so that we have fewer students in the classroom at a time that first week, so it's not as overwhelming to them. But we want them to all be able to start on time. So start that process now.
We're out of time, but I have one more quick question. Let's say that I've got other kids and they're zoned for Coopertown, and Coopertown fills up. Could they go to Bransford, or
That's a great question. Thank you for asking that. Let's use that for an example. If Coopertown's classroom is full, the district will allow those families the option to drive to another school. Now, we provide bus transportation for all of our pre-K students in our district. That's not the case across the state. And I'm so thankful for that our pre-K students are bused, and they have to be signed on and off by state regulation.
Oh, yeah.
But once that classroom is full at Coopertown, as an example, those families are given the option to provide transportation to, say, Bransford for pre-K only, with the understanding that child will go back to Coopertown for kindergarten, and that would be the case with any building.
Okay.
So they do have that option to provide transportation for pre-K only, with the understanding of going back to their school of zone for kindergarten.
Okay. Well, I thought with that many classrooms, I figured that had to be the case.
But only once that classroom's full is that an option.
Okay. Sounds good. All right.
Thank you so much.
Jackie Bilyeu, all the answers. If you've got a pre-K kiddo, she is your contact that you need to talk with, and we're going to get this out for our Spanish-speaking friends as well. Thank you so much for being here. So glad you told Joe I said hello.
I will do it.
All right.
Thank
God bless you guys, and thank you for joining us here at 1100 WSGI. Again, this is One Street Over. You have a wonderful day. We'll be back with you tomorrow. Have a fabulous day. God bless.